religious groups, community groups, neighborhood groups, good government groups, environmental groups, farm groups, you name it. Tens of millions of members. You know, brand names, right? And they get on the letterhead and they basically say to all the presidential candidates, big and small, here is your debate schedule from Boston to San Diego and Seattle to Miami. Month after month, you will appear at the following auditoriums. We will present you with national, international, and local matters that are on our minds, and we'll have the press report it on the sidelines. Now, can anybody stop these groups from doing it? Of course not. We are letting our country down. We are too preoccupied. We are too predisposed. And we're not spending enough time on our political and civic energies. And the result is a declining country. 9 out of 10 people think America is in decline. A country that is ruled by corporations, artificial entities, that were never envisioned by our founding fathers to have any rights at all. And now they have equal constitutional rights with you and me, even though they are not human beings. We're not talking about the employees. And they should be stripped of their constitutional rights to lobby, engage in politics, or elections, because they're not human beings. And we will see a continued deterioration of the economic status of the American people, more and more outsourcing of jobs, more and more pressure on wages, fewer and fewer unions, etc. And then where we are. What are we going to do when we look at our grandchildren? Let's take this young generation of Americans, this virtual reality generation that watches screens 55 hours a week, glued TV, internet, video games, cell phones, etc. Glued. Imagine what that does to the brain. They're not in reality. They're in virtual reality. What are they going to say to their grandchildren? When that 9-year-old who's come aware of the world in sort of big trouble, they've left their toys behind, they're trying to see what's going on, and they don't like it much around the world. And they're sitting on the knee of the grandma and the grandpa of today's young generations, and they ask Grandma, Grandpa, what were you doing? What were you doing when this thing was falling apart? What are they going to tell their grandchildren? That they were updating their profile on Facebook? Now, before we have the discussion, I want to say that this is an 08-09 campaign. We can't do it for the people of this country. We can show how they can build very powerful Congress action groups in each congressional district, so powerful, representing majority support on these issues on wages and health insurance and budgets and wars and so on, that they can turn the Congress around in 18 months. There are 535 men and women in Congress who put their shoes on every day like you and I. 1,500 corporations, give or take, get their way with the majority of them. Corporations have money and power. They don't have a single vote. We're the ones who have the vote. We've got to organize it, focus it, and take back the Congress. You take back the Congress, you control the federal government, and we're off to the races for a more just society. Before we have a discussion, it's very hard, can I see anybody here? Is anybody up there?
What do you think of McCain?
It's like the candidate for perpetual war, and he's going to be a big loser. You don't have to worry about it. Although McCain's more likely to challenge the military-industrial complex than Obama. He's proved it in the Senate. Before we have a discussion, one of the reasons we're doing this is to bring in young people into clean politics, organizational skills, the desire to run for local, state, and national office. And an example is Matt Zawiski, who came out of a blue-collar family in Buffalo, where he's active there. He's been organizing with us now for 7 years, and in the field, he can juggle more things at once than anybody can imagine. And he's going to bring you quickly up to date on a number of things, and show how you can help us even more than you have thus far, and then I'll be back for a discussion. Matt Zawiski. Hold on, sorry, Greg, sorry. I got mixed up with my people. It's the famous public interest lawyer who you all know, and the kind of lawyer we wish we had in every city, because whenever government or business try to shut people down and their rights and free speech, he and McDougal are there. Someday they'll make a movie about it, and he and others did stop Trojan. I thought Greg was in Eugene, at a big rally in Eugene, and I was going to give him a break, but here he is back here, and he'll share some thoughts with you. Greg Kaffour.